Okay, so let's get started here right on time. So thank you everyone for joining. This is I know it's September, but it's technically, I'm considering it the August usability webinar. So focused on Google Hotels and the connection we recently made there, as well as just kind of covering a couple of minor enhancements to the software booking engine that we've done. And then hopefully that'll allow us some Q&A time at the end. So just a little bit of housekeeping there. You should have access to a Q&A area in Zoom. So feel free to go ahead and type questions in as we go. I may just wait until the final part of the webinar for Q&A to answer those, but if it makes sense to answer them earlier, I will try to do that. So, all right. So thank you very much. The agenda for today, I'm going to recap the Google Hotels, kind of discuss the free booking links. So I'll explain that here in a little bit. Talk about the locking unit assignments. That was, I think it was like the third highest requested feature. And then the interactivity of the 2-week calendar is back, and then the Q&A time. So Google Hotels, if I can figure out how to switch this slide, sorry. So what is it? What is the free booking links? How do people find you? So I plan on going through kind of the potential guest point of view here, and then basically how it can help you. So what is Google Hotels free booking links? So they call it the free booking links, and essentially what it is it means that your booking site can appear across Google when people use a search criteria, lodging for hotels, lodging, resort, B&B, etc. You get the idea. Therefore, you can connect with more travelers and drive more direct bookings. And what's great about it is it's free, like the name implies. So free booking links will display your site name, your hotel name, along with the rate for some dates that they've selected. And then users will click on that link and then just go directly to your website booking engine. So I'm assuming since you're attending this webinar, it's rezStream. So it'd go to the rezStream booking engine. First thing I wanted to kind of cover, free booking links versus ads. So over on the right-hand side, you'll kind of get a little chart of, commission free. They both are with an asterisk next to Google Hotels, because that is when you start doing ads for Google Hotel ads, you start paying per click. They both are direct bookings. The top placement, the final thing in the chart there, free booking links is maybe, kind of, sometimes yes. Google Hotel ads is yes. So you'll see the visual on the left-hand side. I just did a quick search, snapped a screenshot there. So the things you'll notice here, the top portion, it clearly says ads. So Find Hotel has placed an ad on this particular search. So their site kind of appears on top. But then you'll notice when you have Google Hotels integration set up, the very first thing on the free booking links will be the official site. So this will be your property's name. It'll say official site. When you click visit site, it actually just routes them right to the booking engine with those dates that they've kind of searched for. And I'll kind of do that as an example to where those dates come into play. Already loaded up in your booking engine. So it's kind of I like to think of it as 3 different ways of how people find you. So as again, I mentioned Google search, just going to google.com and searching for certain things, hotels in, lodging in, inns, bed and breakfast, resorts, whatever it is. Google Maps, which is kind of personally how I book my vacations and my stays, and I'll kind of show you that route. And then Google Travel. So Google does have a travel site. I personally, you're kind of routed there in the back end, but people may have that bookmark. So it's kind of like Google's OTA site. The first example here, and again, I'm doing a little prezo here with some slides. And then what I'm going to do is stop the slides and go to do some like real live searching to kind of get you an idea. So they might do a Google search of, this is an example of hotels in a certain area. The results that show up, this part that I'm kind of showcasing here at the very bottom, you're going to kind of start to see the organic listings, but this is kind of like the local pack. You'll start to see dollar amounts that start showing up. Now, if you're currently listed on OTAs like Expedia, Booking.com, those things are generating those prices. Or Google Hotels, if you're linking directly with Google Hotels, which is kind of what I'm focused on here, is when you set that up with our system. Google Maps. So again, I kind of mentioned this earlier. This is actually how I start all my searches. So I kind of maybe think of an area I want to go to for vacation, and I zoom in on that area on the maps, and then I'll just type in the word hotels, or there's actually a link for hotels, which I'll show you. You'll start to notice here there's prices that pop up. And those are properties that are either on OTAs like Expedia, Booking.com, and or integrating with Google Hotels. And then there's just little dots in for other places. So what you'll see here is it's definitely a priority for people that are publishing rates with Google or hotels, Google Hotels. So. And then finally, I'll show you this. This is kind of the Google Hotels website. So this is, you can kind of pinpoint an area. So it kind of incorporates the maps, but it uses more of like an Expedia or OTA type search there. Oh, how can I help? Well, increases your visibility, and I put here in parentheses, especially if you don't currently work with OTAs, right? So if you work with OTAs, your prices are kind of showing up there, but this is the important part. Plus the increase in direct bookings and pay no commissions, right? So the people that find your website, a lot of people actually have the lowest rate on their website, so people tend to click on that. And then you pay no commissions. So the free booking links are free. You don't pay any commissions. And that basically can fill last minute shoulder season vacancies, which bottom line, it can help increase revenue, right? So the savings in commissions, the increase in visibility, all equals an increase in revenue. Now, what's the requirement? So there are some things that Google Hotels has as sort of a restriction. So that meaning one location / address that matches an address on Google Maps. So you have a Google business listing with an address and a location. The easiest way to explain this is sometimes people, if they have vacation rentals, there really is no set front desk. They just sort of manage vacation rentals that are scattered throughout an area. Each of those have their own address. That's where Google Hotels, being that it kind of incorporates addresses and maps, that it doesn't play nicely yet. So, and then a bookable nightly rate. So at this point, we send the default online bookable nightly rate and yield adjusted if applicable. So if you do yield management within the program, those yield managed rates will display on Google Hotels. And then when the user gets to the booking engine, when they click on that link, we're still going to show all of the rates that you're eligible for, but the main rate there that's focused is your base rate. Oh, maybe let's take a little break before I do this. I have one question here. The question is, I have Google Ads pay-per-clicks that links potential guests to our website when they do a search. Does Google Hotels do anything different than that? Other advantages over Google Ads? So So the main part here, I'll go back to this search. So this is in my search here. This is that local pack. So this is where it displays, despite whether you do any sort of ads, this is usually displays on the top. Again, I'll maybe show you this here, but usually displays on the top or the top right area of the search. And then ads definitely gives you the prime location when people click on that. So let's go to we'll search. Let's do a search. So let's see. I'm going to do Siesta Key Beach hotels. Oh, this is what I searched. So this gives you an indication, going back to that last question that was asked. So what you're going to notice here is a couple of, these are Google ads. So this is where you might be placing the pay-per-click ads. And then here is that kind of that local pack. So Google, I don't know exactly how they choose these dates that you're interested in. Maybe it's the most popular dates that people are searching for in general. But they're displaying dates that are selected, and then these are the rates for those properties. So you'll notice I can start to click around and I can choose, well, the 22nd through the 25th, and then it will kind of refresh. And then what you'll notice here is it's actually going to that Google Hotels travel site, right? So now I've typed in a specific, I've expressed interest in an area on the search. I've typed in dates. It knows I'm a little bit more interested here. So now it's going to really hone in on an area and let me do some searching here. So again, what you'll see is some properties showing up. I can hit learn more. And then this is where it's going to do like the official site, Google Ads, etc. So that's kind of the Google search type where people find you. Google Maps. So as I mentioned, this is actually the only way I start my bookings. So I kind of know where I want to go, right? So I might type in an area, Lake George, New York. So it's going to kind of put me in an area. Maybe I know I want to be on the lake. I can zoom out. I can hover. So here's those quick links, or I can just type, I can kind of remove the search and type in hotels. But when I click on the word hotels here, this is where it's going to start to show prices or the little dollar or the little just blue dots. And sorry if they're not blue, I'm colorblind, so don't punish me for that. So so then yeah, so when you click on these little dollar amounts, you'll start to see the property showing up here, and it will start to show your rates here, allow you to choose dates over here. You can hit view more rates. This again is where your OTA rates would start showing up, as well as that Google Hotels, that direct booking link. So that's kind of the maps area. Again, that's my preference, personal choice. And to be honest, a couple of years ago, I really didn't know this was Google Hotels, but this is kind of how I searched for properties and started my searches. And then the final thing here is, you get to that Google Hotels travel site. Some people might bookmark this. If they like this interaction, they'll bookmark this. So this is an actual google.com/travel. And this is /hotels over here. You can kind of get an idea. This is where you can start typing in a destination. Depot Bay, Oregon. You can type in dates that you're interested in seeing it for. 22nd through the 25th. And then the calendar refreshes again and then starts showing your property And you can zoom out and you can kind of start to see that change and interact here on the left. So those are kind of the 3 different ways that people are finding you, or can find you. And again, if you're not listed on any OTAs and you don't do Google Hotels, you basically are, you might still be listed, but there'll be a little dollar or a little blue symbol here instead of an actual rate. So I know that personally I start to gravitate towards the properties that are showing me rates because it's more already in tune with what I'm looking for. I hope that helps. Let's go back here. Oh, now what? If you're interested or just have the question. So if you're using our software, it does require the pro version of the cloud. And some people don't know what that means. If you right now, if you're currently connected to any OTAs using a channel manager or using that booking.com direct connection, you're on the pro version. You have what you need. You basically just need to email our support team and mention that you'd like to be added to the Google Hotels. So it's that easy. We'll verify your eligibility. Again, I mentioned a couple of things on a few slides ago, but then we will get you entered. Now, timing on that, it ranges, right? We've seen it take anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks. So really, we don't have much control over it. We get you added, make sure the address is correct. We upload that to Google, and then from there, it's kind of in their hands. But then, like I said, you should start generating. And then there's nothing to do, really. There's really nothing required of you. It will just start feeding the information that's exactly on your website right now that you're publishing for that. So. And then here's an offer for you. So if you're not on the pro version, if you're attending this and you just are you're either on the basic version of the cloud, which you probably won't get a whole lot of people doing here, which means you're not even taking online reservations, but maybe this sounds appealing and you want to start that. Or if you're on the standard version really here is what I'm talking about. If you're on the standard versions, you already have the booking engine and you want to give this a try, reach out directly to me. And then we're going to offer you a limited free trial for this. And at that point, you can choose to not do the upgrade or continue. And then we'll remove you. So if you don't want to do it, we'll remove you from the Google Hotels connection. Or if you want to continue with it, we can arrange the billing there. So from the standard to the pro, there is an additional cost. Again, I can, even before you do the free trial, just reach out to me and I can go through all that stuff. I just wanted to mention here from Bob, this was somebody that recently upgraded and got activated. He mentioned within the first 48 hours, he received 2 reservations from Google Hotels connection. Now, his property had not worked with OTAs before, so this is one of those scenarios where prices were just never showing. So he would be, on the maps, he'd be one of those little blue dots, or he would just not be displayed ever with pricing. So just to give you an example of a property that's taking advantage of it, 10 cabin rentals. It's a great looking property if anybody wants to take a vacation in Mount Rainier, Washington. So, okay. So before I switch, well, let's just continue on here before we do Q&A again. I just kind of wanted to cover the most recent addition we've made to the software here, which is locking unit assignments. Again, that was one of the highest rated or voted on features to put into our software. So we make a reservation and you want to make sure that another agent doesn't change it or you accidentally don't start shuffling that around. We can now lock a unit. So what that means is when you take that reservation, it will show locked on there. And if you try to move it, it's going to give you a warning. So I'll go through that actually in the software live, just so you get an idea. And then finally, I'll cover this as well, the interactive booking engine calendar. So we made some enhancements to the booking engine, and then the 2-week calendar that was displayed was not interactive. So we got some feedback there. So we made that interactive. Don't worry for the people that also want to see rates. That's coming very shortly here. So just stay tuned for that. But we put the legend back in, and now people can actually see your availability down there, and they can click on that to begin their reservation. So let's want to show those two things quick before I jump into the total Q&A time. So lock unit assignments. When you make a reservation, by default, it is unlocked. So when I click on any one of these reservations, it shows unlocked here as a status. Now you'll notice here some reservations have that little lock symbol. That means I can click on this and it becomes locked. So what'll happen is it'll display, you'll be able to see visually where it's locked. And then what's going to happen here is if I decide I want to move this, now we're a big proponent of allowing you, the user, to do things maybe that you originally said you did not want to do. So we give you a big warning here. We make sure you toggle like, hey, this thing is locked, which you indicated it shouldn't be moved. Do you still want to go ahead and do that? So you can click yes and continue on with this, but you have to be purposeful about it. So it's not going to just let you accidentally move someone without going through a few steps to make sure you really want to do that. So that's that feature. Again, there's not a whole lot to it. You basically can just mark things locked. It shows visually, and it restricts you, or at least pops up a big massive warning when you try to move one of those. And then the final thing here is I'll cover the calendar. So when we did the booking engine change here a few weeks ago, this was a highly requested update. Now you can actually click on these, click on an arrival, click on a departure, and then continue checking rates for that. So what's great about it is you chose dates on that calendar, you chose the units. So it clearly says, hey, this is your selected unit. Here's your different rate options. We also then would display here if they wanted to maybe see, they change their mind, they could see other cabins. And what's basically just showing like, hey, this unit differs from what you originally selected on that step one, but these things are available just in case you wanted to book something else. So again, I mentioned earlier that rates will be, that'll be kind of a different announcement here that we'll be making. So keep your eye out if you're interested in also displaying rates on here as well. So, all right, let's go Q&A time. And actually, since I don't have a lot, I do have another question from Bob here. I'm going to launch a poll. If you guys could please take just I won't make this, I won't take a long time for this, but I just wanted to gauge who's in there. And then I also want to remind people, if you could please, after this is all said and done, there will be a survey at the end for people to fill out. If you could please do this poll, and maybe it's not working, either that or, okay. I'll show this here for another 5 seconds. I'll go through these pretty quickly here, so this won't take very long. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're getting a lot more people here. I know I went longer than 5 seconds. I just saw a big burst of people answering that. So. All right. I don't want to take up too much time for that. And again, at the very end, I would appreciate if people fill out the survey. So Bob has a question. Is there a report for reservation by channel type? The hope is to see how many reservations are received from Google Hotels. Let me go back to the software here. I don't have Google Hotels enabled in my demo here, but in the report section, we do have a revenue in the revenue section. We have a revenue by channel. Mine is not going to be a good view on that because I really only have like the booking engine and phone call reservations. But this would be an area where you're going to see the reservations by that channel. And we do track. So when reservations come in, if you're enabled to Google Hotels, it will display, if you're familiar with on the dashboard here, if you're familiar with where we show how that reservation was made, like via booking engine. For those of you that work with OTAs, it'll say via my allocator, the channel manager. So that's kind of where it'll say via Google Hotels. So that gives you an indication of where those reservations are coming from in the report. What else? I don't have any other questions. Is there anybody that has a question? If you don't want to type it in, I think there's a raise your hand. I can unmute you. Feedback, comments, questions. While you guys may be thinking about that, I'll give you a little bit, but here is my information, my direct email and my direct dial phone number. If you want to give me a call or shoot me an email. And then in general here over on the right, we have general phone numbers and emails. So if you want to do a general sales request, sales@rezstream.com. If you want to go right to support, as I mentioned, if you want, if you're already on the pro version and you want to be added, just email support@rezstream.com. There's our phone number that'll get you into a menu, which you can select the different department that you'd want to visit. So, okay. I know that was quick. There's not any other questions. I'll kind of hold out here for just another minute or so, give people time to answer any questions. Maybe I won't give a minute or two. I'll just give another 10 seconds. So it doesn't seem like it. So with that, I'm going to end the webinar. And please, if you'd please fill out that survey, I'd appreciate it. It really helps me kind of drive these webinars, see how I performed, if I'm adding value here, because that's my goal. So thanks again, everybody, for your time. And we'll be in touch, hopefully. Take care.